Rental market is going crazy in Canada right now, especially for new immigrants. So in this video, I'm going to talk about three things. First, how do new immigrants really rent a property here after they land in Canada? Second topic would be our approach. We actually rented a condo before we landed in Canada. We rented a condo while we were in India only. So I'm going to talk about our experience and one big shock that we had to face once we arrived here. And the third topic would be my suggestion to new immigrants based on my overall experience so far. So please watch the video till the end because I believe that this is going to be super helpful for people who are landing in Canada very soon. Renting a property is getting very expensive in Canada. So if I talk about Toronto GTA area, which includes Mississauga, Brampton, Toronto downtown, and even nearby cities like Etobicoke, North York, even Scarborough. So all of these places, the rental is ranged between $2,000 to $2,500 for 1 BHK condo. So it is getting very expensive. And for new immigrants who don't have a job, landlords are even asking for 4 months, 6 months rental in advance. I've heard that people are even paying 12 months rental in advance. I don't know whether that's true, but I've seen people paying 4 months and 6 months rental in advance. For a new immigrant, especially people who don't have a job, it is a very big first-hand investment. And even people who are ready to pay rental for a few months in advance, it is hard for them to get a rental property if they don't have a job, because landlords here need some security, like they want to look at your salary slips, your offer letter if you have any. If you don't, then they might probably prefer to give it to somebody else. So if you are landing here as a couple and only one of you have a job, then there is a chance that you can get a rental property relatively easier. But if both of you are earning, that becomes very easy for you, and you may just need to pay first and last month's rental in advance, and that's it. But those who don't have a job, first it would be very difficult to find a rental property, and if you do, then you might have to pay little extra, like 3 or 4 months rental in advance. So that is the situation right now. So how do new immigrants actually rent a property in Canada? So most people land here and they stay in an Airbnb. So Airbnbs are even expensive. So for one night, average rate is $150 to $200. So if you look at the monthly rental, it is somewhere around $4,500 to $6,000 per month, which could easily be your 2 or 3 months rent if you are able to find a property and rent it from month 1. So this is how it is happening. So most immigrants come here, live in an Airbnb for a couple of months. Until that time, they look for jobs, they look for rental property, so it takes time. So when we were planning to move here, we didn't want to actually go through that hassle to go and explore rental properties on a daily basis with realtors, because we were moving with our baby, and also we didn't want to spend too much money in Airbnb. So we thought we'll explore and see if we can find a rental property while we were in India. So we started reaching out to many realtors. We sent them an email that we are planning to land in Ontario, maybe somewhere close to Toronto and Toronto GTA area. So if you can help us find out a rental property for us. And most of them said no, because their point was you should come here, see it on your own, and only then it makes sense to get one. And they also said that since you probably might be landing without a job, it may not be possible for us to convince the landlord to give their property to you. So these were the two main challenges that we were facing. But then I remembered that I found one real estate agent in Canada on YouTube, my favorite platform. So I spoke to him a couple of months ago before we were planning to land here, and he told me that whenever you're planning to land, just let me know and I can help you find a rental property here before you land. We'll see how it works. So I decided to give him a call, and he agreed. He said, okay, let's go for it, and I'll help you find a property. Don't worry, I know where you're coming from. He's also from India, so we started working with him. And after some time, we shortlisted 1 BHK condo in Toronto downtown area, and it was a fully furnished property, and we were happy. We thought that okay, let's give it a try. So our friends live here in Toronto downtown area. So my friend visited the condo just to see like if everything is okay, and according to him it was all good. We were getting that condo for about 2,400 Canadian dollars, but it was fully furnished, which is very rare in Canada. You don't really get fully furnished condo or home with all the furnitures and everything. You get kitchen appliances, but the landlord was asking for about 4 to 6 months rental in advance. And since we were very new in that process of looking for properties, we thought that no, we should not rush into it, and maybe we should explore more places. Then our friend suggested, it seems like a good deal, just give it a thought. And after a couple of days we decided, okay, we would pay 4 months rental in advance. So we told our realtor, but by the time realtor reached out to the landlord, he had decided to give it to somebody else who were already here in Canada and who had a job. So this is how it works. Even if you are ready to pay like 4 months, 6 months rental in advance, you might lose it to somebody else who already been living here in Canada and who already has a job in hand, right? This is how it works. So we lost that opportunity, but then that realtor continued to help us and he found another condo, 1 BHK condo in Mississauga. So it was a smaller condo relatively to what we had seen earlier, but it was a new building, so we were the first one to really enter into that condo, live in that condo, so that was a plus point. Size was smaller, but the balcony was bigger and location was good. It was close to the second largest mall of Canada, which is Square One, if you guys know. It is only at 7 to 8 minutes walking distance, and most of the places are accessible, so you don't really have to take public transport for anywhere and everywhere you want to go. There are many parks nearby for Meher, so we thought that okay, it's a good deal, we'll thought about it. And he sent us the photos, and when we saw the photos it looked okay, but then he only told us that the size wise it's small, it's 1 BHK, but size is small, but the location is good and you will have a good connectivity. So we thought okay, it's fine. And then we asked him, can we send our friend to visit this one as well, and he denied. He said no, that won't be possible. Like for every property you can't really send your friend, and there are so many people who are also looking out for this property and you might lose it to somebody else like you did earlier. So please rush, and you only have 24 hours to decide. So he had left no other option for us, and we really we liked the pictures and everything, but in the pictures we noticed one thing, that balcony seemed incomplete. And then we asked him, that balcony seems incomplete, probably this building is also under construction based on what we can see on Google Images. And he said yeah, but by the time you would move in it would all be complete, because in Canada there's a government policy, till the time your condo is complete or the building is complete, government would not allow landlords to give it on rent to other people, because it might cause some disturbance to people who are living in the condos, in the flats already, if there is some construction going on. So we asked him this question 10 times and he said don't worry, everything would be complete. And we agreed and we decided to go ahead with that. When we entered into our apartment, the day we landed in Canada and we entered into our apartment, we were shocked to see that balcony was still under construction, and it was a big shock. Apart from that, everything was good. The overall apartment was well cleaned, painted. It was a new condo, so it was great. It was smaller, but we already knew that it was smaller in size, and we didn't really care much because we only have to spend like few months or maximum 1 year in this condo, right? We are a new immigrant. We don't really want a lavish life as soon as we move in here. So, but when we looked at the balcony, it came as a shock. And then we called him and he said, "Oh, but I told you." And he hadn't. And I had asked him so many times earlier about the balcony. We had so many discussions. I even told him that I know the flat is small, but balcony is so big and the view is good, so we are okay. But he never told us about, the balcony would still be under construction. So it was a big shock. And then after a couple of days, we emailed everybody, our realtor from the side of the landlord and the landlord, everybody, and we told them our disappointment. After that, what happened, nobody even bothered to reply to that email. And when we called the landlord, he said, "See, I told this to the realtor, and if he had not communicated this to you, then I don't know what to do. I can't really help you." So this is what the situation is right now. Honestly, we are happy with the location. Flat is also good. Everything is good. But because of this, construction thing going on in the building, there is so much disturbance the whole day. Plus the balcony is not accessible. We landed here in summer and we wanted to enjoy our time in the balcony, but it came as a big disappointment. And we didn't pay to stay in an apartment which is still under construction technically, right? I really wanted to pass on this message to the world so that my viewers, and even if any real estate agent is watching this, I just want to tell them that please don't do this. This is not done. Please be honest with your clients, because I'm sure this is not gonna pay you in the long run if you keep doing something like that. Yeah, so this is what it is, but let's see, we might not stay in this flat for longer. So it depends on a lot of factors, but we would have to do something, and I'll keep you posted. So with this, let me talk about the third point. Do I really recommend people to rent a property while they are in India, like before landing in Canada. You know, although I've had a bad experience on just one point, which is balcony, but apart from that, I think for us it has been really smooth. Within 24 hours after landing here, we were able to unpack our entire luggage and we were able to set up our house. It was very convenient. We didn't have to roam around with real estate agents for next few weeks or months to find a property for us. So that way it was very convenient. And I've spoken to many people who live in the same building, and they had to go through so much pain to find a property to live, because if one person has a job, other person doesn't, and if both of them don't have a job, then it becomes a kind of a hassle. So for us, the journey wise, it has been smooth. So I would suggest, if you have somebody in Canada, your friends or your family, who can go and visit the apartment, they can really go and see it and look at different things. For example, in Canada, ceiling height is a problem. In our condo, it's perfect, it's very high, but in most condos or most houses, ceiling height is very low, which kind of becomes a problem at times. Otherwise, in general, like how are the appliances? Are they new? Are they old? Probably taste the water a bit. Although in Canada, tap water is completely safe to drink, but in older properties there might be some challenges. So so if you can send somebody and inspect the place properly before you decide to rent it in advance, that would be great. But if you don't have anybody in Canada, then I would say please come here, stay in an Airbnb for a couple of weeks. First, just book it for 15 days, because you might actually get a place to live in 15 days as well, depending on your current situation, you have a job or not, but you can at least give it a try. So live in an Airbnb for 15 days and then rent it. I can give you more examples. I have two friends, both of them cleared French exam, and that's how they are moving to Canada like I did. So one of them, they are moving with their son, who is 4 years old, and the other friend, she is moving in here with her husband and two dogs. So both of them actually prefer to have a place here rented in advance, so that they also don't have to get through the hassle, right? Like I didn't want to. So what they are doing is, both of them are moving to different provinces, not Ontario. So they have found some realtors and some landlords on Facebook Marketplace, where they are talking to them and their friends who are already in Canada. They are going and inspecting and visiting the places in advance, and that's how they have decided to rent a particular condo or a house. So that's how they're doing it, and they're happy with their decision, and the journey has been smooth for them. I think I was foolish to just trust the realtor and really thought that he's a friend and he's not lying and everything. So I think you should not trust people really very easily, because even if you're talking to somebody from your own home country, that person may or may not have your best interest in mind. Don't trust anybody blindly. So this has been my learning so far. But guys, honestly, place is great, everything is great, but it's been a great journey for me so far. A lot of you are asking me how you liking it. I believe it is too early for me to say, but in general I can say that we have landed at the right time. It's summers, it's great. I'm wearing a jacket today because it's little cold, but it's manageable without jacket as well. It's little cloudy only, it's not cold as such, but I'm liking it so far. And I want to motivate you guys, because I know most of you are learning French, which is a very difficult thing. I've been through that journey, so I know how hard you are working. So I really want to motivate you. In terms of job market, I know things are difficult, and I'm going to talk about it very soon. In just couple of days I will post some videos, and I'll talk in detail about the job market and how the things have been for us. I'm going to post a couple of videos very soon, so please stay tuned and consider subscribing and liking, and I see you very soon with another video. Take care. Goodbye.